This program was recorded on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation.
Cooking in the kitchen is so much more fun when you have someone to help. I have a special guest joining me today. Stay tuned to see who it is.
Hi, I'm Wendell. Welcome to Simply Cooking by MmmChef.
Hey, that's my job. Hi everyone, welcome. Today I have a special guest with me, my hubby Wendell. We thought it would be a wonderful episode to show you his favorite things. Today we're going to be making a potatoes Dauphinoise, or scalloped potatoes as you may know them, a bacon wrapped pork tenderloin, and his favorite dessert, rice pudding. So we're going to be starting today with the potatoes Dauphinoise / scalloped potatoes. Their potatoes Dauphinoise is the original recipe that I learned in culinary school. It's a French recipe, but most of you here in North America know them as scalloped potatoes, and this is our take on both of them. I'm going to slice up some shallot, and we're going to get that ready. So the first time that we ever made this recipe, we were camping.
We were camping, and after a long day, Daniela fell asleep early, so I had to come up with dinner for us. And not thinking and not knowing of all the food we had in our coolers, I simply came up with what I knew how to cook and use, and came up with these recipes.
Okay. And he cooked them on the fire, and I woke up and he had dinner ready, and he had this little casserole dish of these scalloped potatoes that he had just made up, and we continued the tradition. We make these probably a couple times a month. They've evolved over the years. I started, I used to eat everything, and so mine also had dairy in them, but I've been mostly dairy-free for the last 11 years, and so now today we're going to show you both of our versions. So I've sliced up some shallot and roughly chopped some garlic. Not very pretty there, actually, but that's okay. And we're each going to make our own version. He's going to make the classic version with Emmental and Gruyere. A traditional Dauphinoise is made with Gruyere, and scalloped potatoes are usually made with something like Swiss, and Emmental is a great take on that. It has the little holes in it, and it's stringy, just like a Swiss cheese. We also need thinly sliced potatoes. I'll show you how thin they need to be. A little bit thicker than a potato chip. But I've actually pre-cooked some. And this is a trick that we've learned over the years. We've been watching reality TV every Thursday night for the last, how many years have we been?
Jeez, 18 years.
And we've learned over the years that sometimes some of our stuff is ready before the potatoes are ready. So a trick that we've started doing is we parboil, or even you can microwave if you have one, your potatoes before you start building. So that way when they're baking in the oven, they don't take forever. And that's also a really great trick for a busy weeknight dinner where you can impress people with a really fancy meal, but it takes less time because you've pre-cooked the potatoes. So, all right. So we have the pre-cooked sliced potatoes. They're not cooked all the way through. They're still really hard, but they're par cooked. And we told you about Wendell's cheese. I have my favorite dairy-free shreds, and then I have my favorite dairy-free mozzarella. You could use whatever cheese you like, dairy-free or not. And we have some grass-fed ghee. I love ghee. It is a clarified butter, and it has a unique flavor, and it just adds decadence. Okay, we're now going to start to get our hands dirty. You know what to do.
I do.
You do. Okay, he's going to rub that ghee all around. I'm also going to talk about the other ingredients we have. We have some grass-fed 10% cream. Use whatever cream you have. You can use your coffee cream or a can of, coffee creamer, or 10% or 5%, or even homogenized 3.25. Or if you're trying to watch your fat, you could use a 2% or a skim. And I am using my dairy-free oat creamer. I also do this with coconut milk, coconut cream, homemade almond milk. It really works with whatever liquid you want. And I've actually also done it for a client once with chicken broth instead of using cream at all. Awesome. Look at that.
There we go. We just want to get it all over the bowl. There.
Excellent. So now we're going to spread our garlic all inside. Go ahead, grab yours. And we do a layer of potato. I like to lay them out.
Excuse my reach.
Of course. We love to cook together. I am the chef though, so he mostly does the dishes. But over the years, since we've been together and gotten to know each other, he's become a much better cook in the kitchen. Don't you think?
I'm learning.
He's still learning.
Every day I learn something new. Oh, thank you very much.
And he's also my sous chef. So any of you that have been to any of my events or been a part of any of the things that I've done or dinners I've done, a lot of you have met Wendell because he was my first real employee, my first assistant, so to say. I'm so blessed to have him supporting my business. All right, so we both have our first layer, and this is where we both become a little bit different. So he's gonna grate his cheese, and what is it that you like to do? A different cheese in between each layer?
Yeah, each layer I like to at least different cheese for every layer, so at least when you have a full bite, you have and taste something different every time.
Love it. I'm doing a small little layer of my dairy-free cheese and a few little pieces of shallot. And then I'm taking my dairy-free creamer and doing a little layer. And you just make sure that everything's covered and everything's moistened. You can kind of see that there. And then you repeat. Actually, we add salt too. We add salt in between each layer.
And if you can pass me that, thank you very much.
Wendell's using the real cream. What cheese did you use there?
I used the
Emmental
first.
All right, so I'm gonna continue. So at this point is where you could add other flavors. We've done it before where we've added bacon bits. We've done it before where we've added fresh thyme or fresh chives, other fresh herbs in between the layers. So really you can do so many different things. It's really whatever you have on hand. Today I'm going to be seasoning with a little bit of nutmeg. Actually gonna add mine to this layer. For this, you don't use very much at all. It just adds this little je ne sais quoi to the flavor profile. And you could make it Cajun with Cajun seasoning, and really the options are endless. You're gonna use Gruyere now?
Yes.
Okay, so we keep going. I have my oven preheated. Switch.
Sorry.
We've preheated the oven to 400. And this is gonna bake in the oven for probably about 45 minutes, even though the potatoes have been parboiled. If you hadn't parboiled the potatoes, sometimes this dish can take up to an hour and a half. And that's why over the years, we've now switched to par cooking the potatoes because who wants to wait that long?
Trying to perfect our recipes.
Always, always, always.
Oh, that's almost done.
Yum. So we're also going to be making after the break Wendell's famous bacon wrapped pork tenderloin. That was the same meal that he made that night camping. It was these potatoes in a casserole dish, and it was the pork tenderloin that he had wrapped in bacon. And again, ever since then, we have spent 18 years every Thursday perfecting a version of these recipes. All right, I think this might be my last layer, just so that we can show everyone what it's like and get these guys in the oven so that we can have enough time to show all of the different things that we're gonna be making. So my final layer has a lot of cheese, the most cheese. And actually what I do is you can see here that the liquid is only up part way. That's why we chose to use clear containers to show you today. I want the dairy to come all the way up. I want it to come all the, oops, reality. We want it to come all the way up. So we want it to almost cover all of the potatoes because they're gonna almost simmer inside of the cream. And then I have this little piece of dairy-free parm that I'm just gonna use the side grater. Oh, it's okay if a little bit gets in there. All right. Did you get any salt on yours? Did you get any nutmeg in yours? You're still gonna do?
Nutmeg. No, I'm just doing this one last layer and
All right.
putting on some cheese.
Okay, let me help him get this last layer done so we can get this in the oven.
There.
Perfect. Put some cheese on top.
Yep.
Can I sprinkle some nutmeg now?
Yes, please.
Have you not been adding garlic and shallots to yours? Yeah, you don't like them.
Very little.
He doesn't like them as much as me. So here, I'm not gonna let these waste. I'm gonna put them on top of mine. Awesome. Let me help you with this.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
As mentioned, I've set my oven. Actually, we set it to 475. I mean 375. What am I talking about? We're not making pizza. We've set the oven to 375, and Wendell's gonna go put those in there. Actually, come back. We need to cover these. We need to cover these, shiny side down. We need to cover them so they can steam. And then halfway through, when we put the pork tenderloin in the oven later, that's when we take the lids off so that they can brown nicely. Okay, let's try that again. He's gonna go put those in the oven at 375, and I'm gonna get this all cleaned up, and we're gonna see you guys after the break. We have our potatoes in the oven, and now we're gonna start on our bacon wrapped pork tenderloin. Wendell's gonna do this because this is his recipe, and this is something that same night as we were camping, when he came up with the potatoes, this was the meat that he served.
Yep. So we're just going to move the meat over a little bit. Then we have bacon slices, and as you can see, one end's thicker and wider than the other. So we're just going to rotate them and place them down so it's easier to wrap, almost like a sushi wrap. The bacon will cover all of the tenderloin and it'll be delicious.
Yeah, so that there's no space in between, and it's like you said, he covers the whole thing.
There. And sometimes the pork tenderloin will have a skinny end at this side. Just kind of fold it to match the opposite side, so once you roll the pork tenderloin with the bacon, it'll all be even out. So
One more step.
Oh,
One
I
more step.
forgot my favorite step. Take a sharp knife, cut some garlic
Here, I'll get
cloves
that
in
ready
half.
for you.
Just poke random holes wherever you'd like. Stick them right in
Poke some holes, I'll help you.
wherever you want. There, I'll start you at this end so you can do that.
And then when you cut through the pork tenderloin at the end, it has little tiny slices of garlic right inside. It looks really pretty.
And every bite is delicious.
Yeah, every bite has nice garlic flavor in it. It's awesome. You can do this with fresh herbs too. Oops. You can, we've done it before where we've poked extra holes and we've put fresh thyme in there. You can do it with garlic, onion and shallot instead of garlic. Any fresh herb really. Rosemary works well too. Oh, but I have two pieces.
I'll have one more. I poked an
This-
extra hole
look at some of them
here.
pop out as you push in the other ones. You really gotta make sure they're all in there. Okay.
But once
I'm gonna
everything's
wash my hands.
wrapped, it's great. So I just start with one piece of bacon at the end, kind of give it a nice little tug so it's tight around the bacon. Keep on going one by one.
If you couldn't
Wrapping
find the
it.
pineapple, you know where it is now.
And so once all the bacon's wrapped all the way at the end, just like a sushi roll, try and keep the bacon tight with the pork tenderloin and just roll away.
Can you tell he's my husband and that he's watched me do a lot of demonstrations?
And that's it. Now it's time for me to sear the
So-
steak.
It's not a steak.
Or not a steak, pork tenderloin, sorry. It's been a long day already.
Okay, so Wendell's gonna go over to the stove and he's gonna turn on the pan to medium high and he's gonna sear the outside. He's going to put the cut side of the bacon down. I'll show you right here where the bacon meets itself. This line here, that's the part he's gonna put down onto the pan. And then that way the bacon will crisp up and kind of hold its shape so that later on when it's baking in the oven, it gets nice and crispy, and then when we slice through it, the bacon doesn't kind of all fall off, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he's gonna go do that. And while he's doing that, I'm going to show you how I make my version of rice pudding. So rice pudding, to be honest with you, I don't really like it. It's not something I grew up eating, and it's not something that I was very used to. I've found a way to make it so that I can enjoy it more. And this is something that he grew up eating, and it's probably like his most requested thing for dessert. And if we go to a restaurant and they have rice pudding on the menu for dessert, 100% of the time, that's what he's gonna order. So I have my little mini pressure cooker here, my Instant Pot, which was invented here in Ottawa, and it's actually made here too, which is really cool. Can't get more local than that. And I'm gonna make my rice pudding right in here, the whole thing. You could use a rice cooker, or you could use a regular pot on the stove, a Dutch oven, and I've even actually done it in the oven before. You just have to take it out a few times and stir. What I love about this is you just set it and leave it, and it's done. So I have about 2 cups of conditioned rice. You can use whatever rice you have on hand. I've really used jasmine, basmati, but the 2 best rices to use, in my opinion, for a rice pudding are either arborio, which is an Italian white rice. I don't really have any of that right now, but I do have this beautiful conditioned rice. You can see that the grains are small, so the smaller grains do better. But again, I said you can really use any rice. Sugar, cinnamon, cream will taste delicious with any rice. So I'm gonna put my 2 cups of rice in the bottom. This is flavored with cinnamon. I like to add the whole cinnamon sticks right in there. And I like to cook my raisins right in. These are sultana raisins. That means that they're made out of green grapes, not out of red grapes. And they're nice and dry. They're gonna plump up really nice when they cook in here. And then I have some coconut sugar. At this point, you could use whatever sweetener you like. I've done it before with maple syrup. You can do it with regular sugar. If you have any, I only like to use natural sugar, so today I'm using coconut sugar. And I'm probably gonna add about 1 cup. This is almost 2 cups, so almost half of this. Let me take the insert out so you can see it. And then coconut cream. I mentioned earlier that I'm pretty dairy-free. He's not, so of course you could use real cream, real milk. You could use evaporated milk, any of those things. But I like to make it with coconut cream, and he actually really likes this version too. This is 1 liter of coconut cream because you cook it in the same way that you would cook rice. So every 1 part of rice is 2 parts liquid. So we have half a liter of rice, and now we're going in with a full liter of coconut cream. I'm gonna give this a really good stir, get everything in there. Perfect. And get this into my Instant Pot, get the lid on, make sure it's on seal, and, oh, it's not plugged in. I gotta plug this guy in. And I'm just gonna cook him on the rice setting. There's a button that says rice. Oh, I plugged it in, but he didn't go. There we go. Rice, 12 minutes. That's it. I just set it and let it go. If you had a rice cooker, you would put it on. It would take about 40 minutes, not 12. And if you were doing it on the stove, it would also probably take about 30 to 36 minutes on the stove. Same thing in the oven. I think he's sealed that bacon tenderloin quite well, and I bet you the bacon is nice and sealed. Oh, when you take that off, do you want to grab the baking pan? He's going to grab that. We're going to get it on a baking pan so so that we can get it into the oven and baking with the potatoes that we've got going. The potatoes have been in there already for about 25 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. We're at the about halfway point now. So this was the perfect time to get this pork tenderloin on the baking pan and into the oven. Did you grab it? Oh, he already did and put it on the pan. Okay, so this is now on the pan. He's gonna throw this into the oven. It's still set at 375. This guy is gonna bake for another about 20 minutes so it can get cooked all the way through. See, it's kind of hot, but see how the seam sealed itself on the outside so that later on when it's baking, it doesn't unravel. He's gonna pop that in the oven, and don't forget to take the tin foil off the potatoes. You can take the tin foil off the potatoes so that the top can get nice and brown for the second half of cooking. We'll see you after the break. Our pork tenderloin is cooked perfectly. It's been resting for about 10 minutes so that the juices can reabsorb. We've got our scallop / potatoes Dauphinoise in front of me. You can see the one that's all nice and brown is the dairy one, and the one that didn't brown as much is dairy-free, but don't they both look delicious? So Wendell and I are Caesar salad connoisseurs, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
Everywhere we go and everywhere we travel, if there is a Caesar salad on the menu, we have to try it.
All the time.
All the time. And we are the biggest judges of it. We love our Caesar salad. So today I'm gonna make you my classic Caesar salad. If you watched the show last season, you saw my dairy-free Caesar salad dressing, but this is my classic Caesar salad dressing. You can find that episode online. So I've got an egg yolk that I just dropped in the bottom there. With that egg yolk, I've got some garlic. I've got some lemon juice. I've got a squirt of Dijon mustard, and I'm just gonna start whisking. And while I'm doing this, Wendell's gonna start cutting the pork tenderloin so that it's ready for our lovely date night. Look at that come together really nicely. It's emulsified. It's a nice, kind of like more like a vinaigrette style Caesar salad dressing. Real Caesar salad dressing has anchovy paste in it, but I left that out. I've got some Parm cheese here that I'm grating into there. And then actually, this is my secret trick to bringing that Caesar salad up to the next level. I like to add little pieces of lemon rind right into the Caesar salad dressing. It really just gives you that wow factor. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna drop that in the sink there. Gonna have to wash that anyway before I use it. All right, so, oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. We don't wanna waste any of that juice, do we?
No, so what are we going to do with it?
What do we always do with it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, we spilt some, but that's okay. I guess you're gonna have to eat those little bacon pieces. All right, so I'm gonna tear my, so we always have croutons in the house. Anytime that I have any leftover bread or the butt ends of bread or half a bagel or really doesn't matter, any type of bread, even pitas, I freeze them. And then when I do prep sometimes, I take them out and I make a huge batch of croutons by mixing with garlic powder, onion powder, olive oil. Sometimes I use bacon fat. And I bake them in the oven at 400, and then I keep them in an airtight container or Ziploc bag for a night when I want Caesar salad. Put some croutons in there. We have some pre-cooked bacon. You can't have real Caesar salad without bacon. I'm gonna let Wendell put that in the sink, and he's gonna toss the salad while I show you the delicious dessert that we made. We have the rice pudding in our Instant Pot. Let's see. Ooh, look at that steam. It's beautiful. This is really hot. Let's see if I can take it out. Oh, I can. It's all creamy and delicious. I'm gonna plate this in a little bowl. with a cinnamon stick and some fresh raisins, or sultanas as we say. Oh wow. Wasn't this simple and so delicious? Thanks for joining me, and thank you, Wendell, for cooking with me today.
Oh, you're welcome.
We'll see you next time.